It's been nearly 6 months since WNBA star Brittney Griner was taken into custody at a Moscow airport because Russian officials found vape cartridges with hashish oil in her possession. 6 months, and the outlook for her release appears to be getting darker with every passing week. The 7-time All-Star was so frustrated about any apparent lack of progress that this weekend she sent a handwritten letter to President Biden appealing for more urgency and effort in getting her release from a Russian prison. In her personal plea delivered on July 4th, Griner revealed her deepest fears, saying, quote, "I'm terrified I might be here forever." She also urged the president to free all U.S. captives, saying, quote, "I realize you're dealing with so much, and please don't forget about me and the other American detainees. Please do all you can to bring us home." Brittney's wife, Griner, addressed this during an appearance on CBS Mornings in a clear effort to bring more public attention to her jailed wife. Gayle King asked her about any White House response.
In her letter, she says the first time she voted was in 2020, and that vote was for President Biden. Have you heard from him?
I still have not heard from him, and honestly, it's very disheartening.
Now, Griner has begun doing more media appearances to bring attention to her wife's situation. Remember, her imprisonment nearly perfectly coincided with Russia's military invasion of Ukraine, which led to a broad coalition of nations banning all Russian exports, which puts things in a clearer geopolitical context. Listen to CNN's Abby Phillips ask Brittney Griner's wife if she's a political pawn.
She's an American. She's a black woman. She's a lesbian woman, all of those things. I mean, do you think she's being used as a political pawn by Russia?
The answer to that question is yes. Yes. Can they get something in return for BG? Yes, they can. Are they willing to do that? Yes. And at this point, I want them to.
Now, Griner has begun to receive more vocal support, especially from the world of women's basketball. Vanessa Nygaard, coach of WNBA Phoenix Mercury, said this about her player.
If it was LeBron, he'd be home, right? Yeah, it does. It's a statement about the value of women. It's a statement about the value of a black person. It's a statement about the value of a gay person. All of those things, and we know it, and so that's what hurts a little more.
So as Brittney Griner is soon to start her 7th month in Russian detention, the question is she getting any closer to getting released? And what about an alleged double standard at play here? Is she really being treated unfairly? Well, joining me now is David Tafuri, a former State Department official in the Obama administration. David, thanks so much for coming on. It's good to see you. Let's first start right here. Why hasn't President Biden responded yet to Griner?
Well, after Griner was detained by Russia, the strategy clearly was to keep this below the radar and see if they could resolve this quietly. And that was the right strategy at the beginning. The more publicity it gets, perhaps the harder it is for Putin to do a deal for this. If it could have been resolved quietly, that would have been the best. The U.S. certainly realized that it wasn't going to be able to resolve it quietly. That's why the U.S. then came out in May and said that she is being wrongfully detained. The U.S. has said, the administration has said that they're doing everything they can to help her, but the family sounds frustrated, and clearly the family feels that the U.S. government could do more, and that's why the family, and in particular her wife, is now going on television and trying to get more attention for the case, and that's what a family normally would do in a situation like this. The more attention it gets from the U.S., the more pressure there will be on the Biden administration to do more, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be successful, because Russia holds the cards on this specific case, and she clearly is a pawn, and Russia is using her as leverage, in particular because tensions between the U.S. and Russia are so high, in particular because of the illegal invasion of Ukraine by Russia in February.
So, David, you believe that she's being treated differently. In other words, I mean, for those of you, for all of us who don't really know the Russian judicial system, her being locked away for 6 months, her going to trial for this, is she being treated differently because of her celebrity factor, because she's a star athlete?
Well, I would say all Americans are going to be treated differently in the judicial system in Russia right now. And any American, whether they're famous, whether they're a famous athlete, or whether they're just a normal citizen, is going to be potentially used as a pawn, potentially used as leverage for Russia to try to get things that it wants. And that doesn't even, and I don't mean to suggest that Russians are going to be treated fairly in the Russian judicial system. The judicial system has, it has collapsed in many ways. It's nothing like what we hoped it would be after the fall of the Soviet Union. There is no independence for the judiciary. They have a civil law system, which many countries in Europe also have, but their civil law system is largely dominated by the government. And in this case, where the government has a vested interest, a defendant has very little chance, even if they have a very strong lawyer, or they have a very good defense, or they have strong evidence that they're innocent.
If it was LeBron James locked up, would this be different? Would he be home already?
It would be different, but I wouldn't say he would be home already. I mean, LeBron James, just like Brittney Griner, would be a pawn. And in many ways, he'd be a pawn that Russia would use to try and leverage even more in return. Obviously, there would be more attention if it were LeBron James, because he's better known across the world as one of the premier male athletes. But it doesn't mean that the U.S. government would be working any harder than it already is for Brittney Griner, and it doesn't mean that Putin would be any more inclined to give him up. In fact, you might argue that he would be less inclined to give up LeBron James, because he would want to, extract more from the U.S. in return for releasing him.
It's just a tense situation. It's ultimately so heartbreaking to see what's happening unfold, and we're going to continue to monitor it and see if there's any response from President Biden himself regarding Brittney Griner's letter. David Tafuri, thank you so much for coming on, and great perspective.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.